If you can't mate, if you can't pass on your genes, you are evolutionary history. But what happens if your own size gets in the way of mating? Some dinosaurs evolved to be the biggest animals ever to live on land. With dinosaurs like T-Rex topping out at more than 15 feet, sex gets complicated. And for all we know about dinosaurs, the details of their sex life remains a mystery.
Imagine a 40-ton dinosaur trying to reproduce. Obviously, two of these behemoths would have had to get together, but exactly how they did so is still a huge question for paleontologists.
Fossilized eggs are clear evidence that dinosaurs had intercourse and reproduced through internal fertilization like birds today. And the bones of dinosaurs are littered across all 7 continents, testament to creatures that dominated the Earth for 160 million years. Clearly, these enormous animals must have evolved an extremely successful method of mating. Paleontologist Ken Carpenter has puzzled for years over the mystery of dinosaur reproduction.
It's a whole process of trying to understand what dinosaurs were like as living animals. They had to have been able to reproduce in order to be so successful for over 200 million years. How did the males and females get together?
What made Carpenter's investigation difficult was that all he had was bones. No reproductive organs have survived the fossil record. To discover what dinosaur sex might have been like, Carpenter turned to a creative mix of comparative anatomy, physics, and deduction, starting with the dinosaur's reptile cousin, the crocodile. Male crocodiles have unique sex organs, not like the claspers of the shark, but not a penis as we humans know it either.
Unlike humans, dogs, cats, they don't have this very long organ that sticks out all the time. It's actually a much smaller organ that's kept inside the body.
Most of the time, the male's genitalia is kept inside a slit on his underbelly called the cloaca. During sex, however, muscles inside the cloaca contract, averting the animal's penis. Just 3 inches long in the 12-foot crocodile, the male must insert this tool into the female's cloaca to deposit his sperm. For creatures the size of dinosaurs, that would be like trying to stick a key in a lock by moving the whole building. Was it possible? To find the answer to that question, Carpenter turned to another present-day creature, one that shares the dinosaur's problem of how to fertilize an internal egg, despite its enormous size. The elephant. To reproduce, the male elephant rears up and leans on the female. But doing so puts a huge amount of weight on her back. Over time, this pressure causes permanent damage, creating small fractures in the female's backbones. If dinosaur sex took the same form, Carpenter should find similar fractures in their fossils.
This vertebrae here comes from a duck-billed dinosaur. Possibly this breakage was due to the male climbing on top of a female during sex. Well, maybe, but we'd have to know what gender this vertebrae is. And if it's a male, it would mean one male trying to mate with another male. Maybe that's why dinosaurs became extinct. I don't know.
But the elephant-like rear mount posed a more fundamental problem.
The male would have climbed up, put his weight on her back. Could her bones have supported it?
Elephants weigh up to 7 tons. But some dinosaurs weighed as much as 25 tons. Carpenter calculated the bone strength needed to withstand that much force and concluded that it was too much, the elephant way was out. Undeterred, Carpenter retraced his steps to crocodiles and alligators, creatures with a mating style that avoids load-bearing altogether.
They've got the water to suspend them. It's almost like being in space. The male and females can basically rotate together. The male can stick his penis into the female's cloaca and interject sperm.
So could dinosaurs have had sex underwater? Carpenter consulted the charts.
There were no huge bodies of water, except in a very few places, which would mean then that dinosaurs would have to traipse for sometimes literally thousands of miles in order to have sex. That's an awful lot of work just for sex.
Another dead end. Birds were next. They are the direct descendants of dinosaurs, and they lay eggs like dinosaurs. Could they copulate the same way?
Birds do it basically as a bunch of quickies, mostly because they're trying to fly at the same time as they're trying to reproduce. The males would be fluttering their arms as they're trying to get up against the female.
Birds' quick transfer of sperm, known as a cloacal kiss, would have its advantages for creatures as large as dinosaurs. But again, there are problems. Most dinosaurs don't have wings. And just as importantly, how could they do it with their massive armor in the way? The dinosaur's bony tail is heavy and rigid and not easily moved. The normal procedures of comparative anatomy had left Carpenter with a trail of false leads. Racking his brain for any idea that might work, Carpenter found one right at his feet: the household cat. And while cats are no more like dinosaurs than dogs are like lizards, Carpenter believes the cat's way would work for T-Rex.
If the female lowers herself much like a cat, raises her rear end up, the tail would certainly go up in the air and would expose her sex organ to the male. And the male can then climb up there and grab her on her neck, and then they can go at it.
In the feline position, with the female's head lowered and tail lifted, the problem of the male's enormous weight would be lifted off the female's back. At the same time, the position would allow easy access for the male. Carpenter's theory is the first to offer a workable answer to the mystery of dinosaur sex, and the first to explain how dinosaurs were able to reproduce their way into history as the unrivaled rulers of Earth for 160 million years. Dinosaurs were the largest animals to mate on land. Insects are some of the smallest. And in their tiny world, sex is a war story that's been going on for millions of years, with its own villains and heroes.
You know, when it comes to looking at reproductive biology, you've got to say that cockroaches are a superstar.